Hello, hello. It is Throwback Thursday, first day of February 2018. Steve Sipress here after a number of technical issues. I've done several restarts, and I think and a couple of tests. I think we're live now, so let's go. Here we are with today's Rhino of the Day is this very cool cookie cutter. So it is an aluminum, I believe, piece of metal that you stamp into the dough, and you carve out some Rhino cookies, which my beautiful wife Michelle has made for me, so I know it works. And the reason I share that as the Rhino of the Day is because for Throwback Thursday, I have this nearly 25-year-old bag of cookies. No more cookies in it. In fact, I think the cookies were gone within like an hour. Like, these were like the world's greatest tasting cookies. But you can see that it's signed here by the owner and the maker and the creator of these cookies, the world famous Wally Amos, in December something 1993, more than 24 years ago. And he said, "Aloha, Steve, be positive, Wally Amos." And the word aloha, because they're baked with aloha, because Wally Amos lives in Hawaii. And so this was a 2-pound bag of the Wally Amos cookies. Hello, Michelle and Everett are here. And so what happened was, this is back in my door-to-door sales days, which I did from 1991 to 2000. So 93 is firmly right there towards the beginning of my door-to-door sales career. And there I was. I sent my guys out into the field on a Saturday, and I headed over to Costco to pick some stuff up. And you know how Costco, if you've been in there, they have all these setups with the samples, the ladies with the white hairnets or the guys, whatever, in the white outfits, and, to keep everything sterile, I guess, and they're handing out food and crackers with this on it and that and whatever, and they're selling the stuff like crazy. Another lesson for another day. But lo and behold, there at having a table was Wally Amos himself, the famous Amos of Famous Amos Cookies, which, this, as the story goes, he had in a technical legal battle. I think when the company was having financial trouble, he sold the name Famous Amos, and then when he closed down that company, Famous Amos Cookies, and had to sell the company and the recipe, he also couldn't use his name anymore. So he started this company called Uncle Nonami Cookie Company, and that's how he pronounced it. But as you can read it, it's Uncle No Name. Hence, he lost the name Famous Amos. Started the company now. Since then, this company is gone. He has a new one called the Cookie Kahuna. And for fans of Shark Tank, the great entrepreneur show on TV, with a whole bunch of entrepreneurs looking to invest in other entrepreneurs, up-and-coming or established businesses, usually up-and-coming and real startups, when you take on investments like that. And Wally Amos was on there last year in an episode looking for $50,000 or something for a share of his Cookie Kahuna company. So Wally Amos, I don't know how old, he's got to be in his 80s, still going strong, but here he was. So the story was, he was at the booth, but he wasn't at the booth. He was never behind the booth. He took his bowl, he put the cookies in a bowl, and he simply walked up and down in front of the booth like 50 feet either way, so back and forth this 100-foot area, for hours. I stood there for hours. Now, back in the day, today, everyone's carrying around a video camera in their pocket at all times. But back then, we weren't carrying around video cameras. We didn't even carry around regular cameras. Like, otherwise, I would have had all this on video forever, because I had to go back. I didn't have to, but I went back and taught all kinds of lessons about sales, about door-to-door sales in particular, from one of the world's all-time masters of door-to-door sales, Famous Wally Amos. And basically, the gist of it was, the main lesson that I took from it, number one, well, so many lessons. Number one lesson is never quit. Keep going. If you believe in what you're doing, keep going. I meet from time to time with these financial advisors. I have some as clients, and they're always talking about retirement and have your retirement. I'm like, people that do what I do, that help people for a living, that love what they do, I don't ever see retiring. I don't ever see, like, the entertainers, George Burns and others are entertaining. They're not retiring. They just keep going and going and going. They're helping people out. They're having fun. They're enjoying it. What would retire mean? Stop doing what you love and think of other things to do? I don't even understand. I do know a lot of people that die very soon after retiring. They feel empty. They've lost their life's purpose. So if, in fact, you found your life's purpose and you're making money from it, retiring doesn't make sense. So there was Wally Amos, still going strong, and he's still, again, he was on Shark Tank show looking for investors to a new business less than a year ago. So still going strong, loving his life, I'm sure, enjoying living in Hawaii and being the one and only Wally Amos and having his own business and doing his own thing. But here he was. He'd flown in. This is in the Boston area where I started in my door-to-door sales business, and he had flown in from Hawaii, and I don't know how, I remember asking him how many stops he'd made along the way in different cities. It's 24 years ago now, but he was there all day, and he was still doing what made him famous to begin with. I mean, he was famous as a talent agent, and he discovered all kinds of famous talent working for a talent agency. And one thing he would do is he would woo these celebrities and would-be clients with his grandmother or whoever's famous recipe, his home-baked, handmade, incredible chocolate chip cookies. Till somebody said, probably flippantly, but he took it seriously, like entrepreneurs do. Don't we take it seriously when somebody gives a business idea and just said, hey, you ought to go into business with these cookies? So 99% of people, or 90 whatever percent, just go, yeah, ha, whatever, hoo-ha, I've got a job that I hate and a boss that I hate and I live in a place I hate, and you know how it is. Wally Amos, being a true entrepreneur, said, you know what? What's a good idea? Let's test it out. If it doesn't work, I stop. I don't do it anymore. That's what entrepreneurs do. We get an idea, we test it out. So he got an actual storefront right there in Hollywood, in LA, or Beverly Hills, wherever it was, and he made the cookies. But the way he promoted them, the way he marketed them, he didn't start by blitzing all kinds of ads all over, or billboards, or emails. There wasn't even email back then, but he wouldn't have used it if there was. What he did was he took the cookies and he walked down the street and started giving away cookies and saying, these taste great, don't they? If you like the taste, come in and buy them sometime. And he just worked and did basically door-to-door sales, giving them away, but door-to-door promotion. Big lesson that I took away and that I taught my door-to-door salespeople and many clients ever since, and I remember ever since, is all about the middle letter O in the WOW strategy that I am the founder and creator of, where the first W stands for the who's your target, your ideal target market, and the last W stands for the way that you're going to use to do your marketing or advertising or selling. The middle O stands for the irresistible offer. You got to make an irresistible offer to that target who in a way or ways that they want to receive and will respond to that offer. That's the WOW strategy. Where here was Wally Amos using the WOW strategy years before I even gave it a name and officially created it. His target market was anybody that happened to be in Costco. No prejudging anybody walking along with a cart or walking along with the kids with him, was to be a recipient of a free cookie. That was the irresistible offer. It's a free, incredible recipe, chocolate chip, hazelnut, whatever, gourmet cookie from the CEO of the company, one of the world's most famous cookie makers, cookie people of all time, right there. I mean, is that an irresistible offer or what? Here's the deal. Lots of people said no. Plenty of people said no. That's what I taught. I took back and I taught my door-to-door sales brother. Said, you're having a rough day. You know, people say no, and you're like, oh man, maybe what I'm selling today. We always changed items all the time, and changed routes, and people went all over the place. So maybe it was like, oh, there's a bad area, or it's a bad day of the week, or people here just whatever, or they don't like me personally, or they don't like my tie, or they don't like whatever, or they don't like this item, or the price is too high, or it's not the right color, or whatever. No, look, here's the deal. You could have what you think are the most perfect circumstances. I have free world-famous cookies from a world-famous celebrity. How are you going to say no? And here's the deal. People said no. Think about it. They didn't, I mean, I'm sure they did, but they went in one ear and out the next because it was in door-to-door sales. I don't listen to their excuses, but I'm sure they made them. They would, but here's some. Can't you think of some? If someone's here, Michelle, Everett, Lincoln, CJ are all here. If you can think of any excuses people would make for not taking a free gourmet hazelnut chocolate chip cookie from the CEO, founder, world-famous cookie maker, Wally Amos, I'll just give you a few while you're thinking about it and typing. People would say, I'm a diabetic, can't have cookies, or I'm on a diet, or I don't like chocolate, or I don't like hazelnut, whatever that is, or I don't take food from strangers, or I don't take anything that isn't wrapped in plastic in a bag, or I just ate lunch. I'm so totally full, it's unbelievable. If I couldn't even eat one more cookie, I would burst. I mean, all these, of course, are incredibly weak excuses, because even if those are all the excuses, you just take it and you say, man, I wish I had a Sharpie on me, could even sign it for me, or I'll give it to a kid, or I'll take it to a homeless. I mean, come on now. But yet people are going to make excuses and say no to even what you would think is an irresistible offer. So that's the lesson I taught to my door-to-door salespeople, and I remember it for myself, and I've taught to many clients since. No matter how irresistible the offer is, still people are going to say no. But there was Wally Amos. The next lesson was, not even 1 bazillionth of a percent of the smile on Wally Amos's face ever disappeared for a millisecond. That he didn't care what anybody said. He didn't care how negative, and because they didn't know who he is, of course. I mean, would they really say no if they knew that was a celeb? They'd say, or just to be polite, wouldn't you just to be polite say thank you? Like they offered some for free. Say thank you and go give it to the hardworking person at the checkout counter or something. I mean, come on now. But they, just said no, and he didn't sit there and badger him, which I've seen many salespeople do. I'd be guilty of myself back in the starting days of door-to-door sales, and I would lose my attitude right there with people. They'd say no to what I thought I had explained properly. It was an unbelievable offer, and they said they were interested. Then they said no. I'm like, oh, well, then I guess you aren't really serious about, blah, blah, blah. I mean, right now, as a business consultant, right, I could get on the phone, just picture it. I could get on the phone. Someone will call me from one of my famous 25K in 25 minutes strategy sessions where I guarantee to find at least $25,000 for a business. And if I do, that's incredibly, I consider almost a failure. I mean, I usually found 5 or 10 times as much, and they go gushingly away. But what if somebody said, yeah, no, I don't want to, I met a business owner, and they said, I don't want to get on the phone with you, and in 25 minutes you'll find $25,000 that I can make in my business and have fun doing it. That's my guarantee. You can go to 25K in 25 if you want to get one of these, by the way. They're free, and I can't load up my schedule with them all the time, but from time to time I'll do some of these calls. Anyway, so people could say, yeah, no, I don't want the free consultation, and I could lose my attitude and go crazy. If I was not following Wally Amos or anyone else's advice that's ever done sales, I could sit there and go, well, then I guess you're not serious about growing your business. I see this sometimes on websites. The website will say, click here to get my free newsletter, video, report, whatever it is, or it'll say, or click here, no, my business is so incredibly great, I don't need any help from anybody. I'm like, stop. You're losing your attitude even on your website. Like, they don't want it. They don't want it. Whatever reason people have for not wanting your stuff, keep smiling and move on. That's it. Move on. I mean, if you ever, it's bringing tears to my eyes just remembering that day watching Wally Amos for hours. Never for a second did he lose a slight bit of his attitude. This was the happiest guy on earth. Now picture it. At that point, 30 years, 25, 20-something years or so, he'd been doing this, right? And who knows how many previous stops he'd made on the way to this Costco, and after hours and hours, and he's giving out free cookies. I mean, he could be in Hawaii just enjoying his life and relaxing and having a great time and whatever. I mean, if any reason somebody would lose their attitude from somebody saying no, or would take a break or not do it at all, it would be the CEO of the company, a celebrity himself, but not Wally Amos. Had the greatest attitude, was the nicest, greatest guy in the world. He even signs the bag saying, be positive. Because I know he used to go, maybe he still does, go and give talks. And it would always be about how to be positive, how to smile, how to love life. These are baked with aloha. They're baked with love. There's a story on the back about Uncle Noname, an elderly Hawaiian gentleman with much wisdom, a quick wit, a love of life, and a smile that could light up a castle, could light up a world full of castles. His love of life was matched only by his love for cookies, and he was often seen eating large quantities with his favorite beverage, lemonade. Everyone called him Uncle, but his legal name was Soma, which is Amos spelled backwards for those of you that didn't realize that, until the powers that be took it away from him. They said it was no longer his to use. It angered him at first, but then it occurred to him that he was spirit and could not be defined or confined by a name. So he decided to call himself Nonami, Uncle Nonami. It had been his dream to have a permanent connection with cookies. The dream has now been fulfilled through the creation of the Uncle Nonami Cookie Company. So enjoy these delicious home-style cookies made with love by his nieces and nephews at the Uncle Nonami Cookie Company. He taught us how to turn lemons into lemonade. And again, I just have the tears in my eyes. That was just an amazing lesson for the day. Throwback Thursday to 24 years plus ago. A couple of weeks before Christmas, another excuse that Uncle Nonami, Wally Amos, could have used to say, well, I'm not going there right before Christmas. You understand, it's December in Boston. It's cold. I'm here in Hawaii. I'm with my family. I deserve a couple of weeks off. I mean, I take a month off. I mean, there he was, working nonstop for free. He owns the company, I know, but giving away free cookies. Now people say no. Never wiped the smile an inch off his face. Great lessons. Great Throwback Thursday for me. Hope you enjoyed it too. I got Rob on Smock says, keep smiling. I agree. I will. I thank you. Now that I'm on the computer instead of the phone, I can click like right there. Love it. And Jim is here. Thanks everybody for being live. Anybody watching on the replay, if you've ever had the opportunity to meet Wally Amos in person, I assure you, first of all, I don't know how much longer you're going to have to do that, how much longer, hopefully he lives for a ton longer, but I don't know how much longer he's going to put himself out in the public with any opportunity for anyone to bask in just the amazing presence of Wally Amos. You get a chance to do that, and if he offers you, just give you a hint, if he offers you a free, incredibly fantastic cookie baked with love with his own recipe, please find a way to overcome all your excuses. If you can't find a way to overcome excuses for everything else you do in life, for crying out loud, at least just for me and for yourself, for crying out loud, just say yes. In fact, just say yes to anyone that offers anything for free. Did you see any possible glimmer of value in for you or for others? Or see the positive, see what could possibly happen, instead of see every opportunity to say no to everything, which is human nature, and every opportunity to be suspect. And this is 24 years ago. We're more suspect and less trusting and more skeptical than ever. Tough way to go through life, folks. Like, find a way to be happy, to be positive, to smile, and to say yes to stuff that could possibly help you or help other people. That's it for today for Throwback Thursday. I enjoyed being here. Hope you enjoyed being here as well. And I'll be back tomorrow with Foundation Friday. I've got a foundational tip for you based on the Donald Trump night at the State of the Union address, with all the pomp and circumstance that he gave the other night. Speaking of which, you can tune in every week to another lesson of the Lessons Learned from Donald Trump podcast. We've done 97, I believe, or 96 of these episodes, and we have a new one that comes out every Saturday, but they're all timeless. You can go back and listen to any one of them, find it on iTunes, or go to lessonslearnedfromdonaldtrump.com. I will be teaching a lesson from Donald Trump right here in tomorrow's video on Foundation Friday, and I hope you'll join me then. Thanks, everyone, for being here today. Hope to catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.